Okay, so we're ready for example 5. Scores for a civil service exam are normally distributed with a mean of 75, standard deviation of 6.5. To be eligible for civil service employment, you must score in the top 5%. What is the lowest score you can earn and still be eligible for employment? Civil service exams are given to work in the post office, for example. And so you have to score in that top 5%. Now, we discussed this earlier. If this is the top 5%, this is the lower 95%. So in other words, you have to score in the 95th percentile to be eligible for employment. All right. We're going to be looking for the lowest score. We're looking for our X value. In order to figure that out, you're going to have to use your formula from before. All right, so I'm looking for my X value. I know the mean and I know the standard deviation because they're right here. What I don't know is my Z-score. So in order to find the X value, I'm going to have to find my Z-score first. So I'm going to go to my table and I'm going to look up 0.95 in my table. Remember, 0.95 is an area, so I'm going to look up the area in the body of my table for my Z-score. 0.95, if you look in your table, it's another one of those where it's right in between two of them exactly. And because it's in between two areas, what we're going to be doing is taking those Z-scores and going to the middle, averaging them together. So there's my Z-score. That Z-score is going to go right here. Times my standard deviation plus the mean. That's about 85.7%. So if you want to be eligible for employment, you have to score higher than that percentage. Here's one more. The length of time employees have worked at a corporation is normally distributed with a mean of 11.2 years and a standard deviation of 2.1 years. In a company cutback, the lowest 10% in seniority are laid off. What is the maximum length of time an employee could have worked and still be laid off? So if we look at our graph, here's 0. The lowest 10% are laid off. So I'm going to say this is my lowest 10% right here. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at 10% in my table. That's a Z-score of about negative 1.28. The closest I'm going to get to this in my table is 0.1003. So this is a situation where you're going to get as close as you can to pick up your Z-score. Go back to your formula. Plug in what you know. So it looks like you have to, if you've worked 8.5 years or less, you could be laid off. All right, that's the end of your lesson. Again, we're not covering the rest of your chapter. The rest of the activities for next week will focus on the first 3 lessons in chapter 5.